I mean, I blame my feet a lot, but
Plug that guy in.
yes. I'm glad you're here, man.
Real stories, real people. This is how we heal, by turning our pain into power.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to How We Heal, turning pain into power. I'm your host, Daddy Magic, and today I'm sitting down with
Jayme Fortune. Nice to meet you guys.
Jayme Fortune. It's cool that you're here, man. I really appreciate you linking up with me.
Yeah, it's a pleasure. Glad to be here.
Good. All right, man. Was there a point for you when your art became necessary for survival?
Yeah, definitely. That's like early, actually, and then I would say it kind of like comes back in different seasons. Early on, like, I found my love for writing music when I was 15. So in high school, you know, like, I was really quiet. I was getting bullied, like, getting into a lot of fights. Not ones that I wanted to, just like, you know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, so very literally survival, but I think it put me in a really dark headspace. I actually remember when I was trying to go to school to take care of, like, an issue that I had, I was always, like, I don't know, in this space where I kind of knew like a moral high ground, like what I wasn't willing to do, but then like I was getting pushed to my limits, like being bullied for 3 months, 6 months straight, something like that. So yeah, I remember just premeditating, like I'm going there, this is what I'm gonna do. I was listening to like Tupac, like hit him up, like, you know, and feeling some type of way. And then I actually discovered breakdancing and writing raps similarly around the same time.
Okay.
All of that became conduits for energy to go into that would be aggressive energy into something like that could potentially be beautiful, something healing. So yeah. Long story short, like the bullies that I had, God had an interesting way of intervening. And I kid you not, like each one of them went, hey, what's up, man? My name's so-and-so. Sorry I've been such a punk to you. It's just like that. Not even kidding. So it was just like really crazy. Couldn't believe it. But then I had to deal with all this extra, like, why did you do that? Like, why 6 months later? Why not, like, when it was happening? Do you even care about me? Like, all this kind of stuff. So it'd go into the music.
That's really interesting. So your like external reality didn't change until you changed your internal.
A lot of times it seems to be that way, don't you think? Like, we have more power over the external than we think, and in some ways we don't. And I know this sounds confusing. Like, if you could have chosen it, you might not have chosen to have to go through surgery, right? It would have been cool if you just woke up and they were healed. So that's what I mean. But in the sense of how much power you actually have to, like you said, turn the pain into something beautiful, something that's relatable, and then also to look at it differently. Like you're not being punished, you're actually being consecrated. I believe in that word, set apart for something important.
I believe that too. A lot of people, they'll just see my disability and say, oh, that sucks.
Yeah.
It's like, well, not really. I mean, in some ways, sure, yeah, but I don't know. I don't wake up and like hate my feet. I don't hate that I'm disabled. Because it has set me apart. And the having to get surgery, you know, and they put me in bed for a year. That was really beneficial for personal growth.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Inner healing, things like that.
Absolutely. Did you know that you were, like when you were getting bullied and channeling that energy, did you know that's what you were doing? Did you know you needed to not let that, or it just kind of happened?
It just kind of happened. I would consider that a saving grace because the outlet that I wanted to do was like to take care of the problem, right? So even though I was like literally, how I felt was like fighting for my life, I imagined like there's only one way to handle this, and it was like violence breeds violence. So that's what I wanted to do. I didn't know that's what I needed, but it's what the doctor ordered, I guess. Breakdancing, I learned from a guy named Will. My sister gave him a haircut, and he like introduced me to it. I remember at first when he said dance, and I'm in this like angry mindset, I was like, that sounds, and I know this is not PC, but I said like, that sounds gay, like I don't want to learn that. you know, that was at the time. I
Hey,
was just
that used to be all of our catchphrases.
Right. So
Yeah.
I say that cautiously, but you know, I was basically saying like, I don't want to learn that. That doesn't sound like what a man would do, right?
Yes.
But Will was like, so Will's story was he had gotten jumped when he was younger, starting a kid, and he got ridiculously buff because of that to deter any altercations. But then when he was doing breakdance, so I didn't know what that was. I go home and I YouTube it, and I was like, see all this explosive energy, I see the spins, I see the flips, I see the battle of it all. And I was like, I've made a great mistake. I need to call Will now. Will, I said, please teach me how to do this. And he said, no, I thought you said it was gay. Like, he's like, I was like, no, it's not, dude. I need to learn this.
Wow.
So I found that in the darkest time of my life. And then my sister's ex-boyfriend, his name was Money the President. He, or Isaac.
Legal name? Money the President.
I can't give it all of it, but Isaac taught me how to like structure rhymes, and I like took to it. And I remember my motivation was like, "Let me on your mixtape, big bro. Let me on your mixtape." And I could only imagine I probably sounded so trash. Like the delivery was probably like tone deaf Beastie Boys, and the rhymes were like Dr. Seuss. I was like, come on, let me on there. But anyway, like, so I found both of those as an outlet, and then the healing would begin, and that would stick with me. I'm 32 now, so like it stick with me all the way up till now.
Oh wow.
Not breakdancing. I stopped doing that a couple years after high school, but like
It gets hard on your knees, I imagine, after a while.
dude, like if I kept up with it, I'd probably still be doing it. But I'll take that. I got some grace.
Nah, yeah. I thought you were younger than me. I'm 30. I thought you were like mid-20s.
Really?
Yeah.
It's my spirit.
It is. Yeah. Got that childlike wonder, which is great. I think more people need it. Yeah. So how has your pain shaped your work and the type of art that you produce?
Yeah, that's a good question. So I think that with music, the pain is actually like, because I said like music's therapy, a lot of the songs come out a lot sadder than we intend them to be, because it's just like taking this and putting it into this. And what I had to learn later, like you've heard Act of God, you've heard Sunday Coffee, it was like those songs sound happy or upbeat, but actually like what fuels them is like the struggle. Like what fuels Sunday Coffee is like, I'm so tired of like spending my best hours of my life at a place I don't want to be. Like, you know, or with Act of God, it's like a relationship that is pressed because this person is giving themselves into addiction. And you're just running out of...
I didn't know the song was about that.
Yeah, you're running out of, like, steam. Act of God meaning, like, a tornado. Like, this person is destructive, so I can't have them around me or, like, the people I care about. So, like, they're darker topics, but the beats are, like, happy. And so I think that comes in time, learning how to create something that is basically alchemizing.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even know if that's a word, but alchemy, like taking something that was intended for your destruction and turning it into something that could bring healing to yourself and others.
Yes, that's where I'm at right now.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm kind of at the end of my, healing my major trauma from earlier in life.
Yeah.
And now it's just like, my dad says I have this ability, like I can just be transparent about what I've experienced. And I guess it's not easy for a lot of people.
They call that being an open book.
Yeah. So, decided to have a book on camera for the internet. I think it could be really impactful, you know?
Yeah.
Share my story and then interview people like you. Because I'm asking everyone the same questions, but everyone answers them so different.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
You know, it's sad, like, that relationship that I'm referencing, like, it's not in a place where it can be better. And I think that the imagery is, like, really interesting to me that I chose, because, like, even if you wanted to be cool with the tornado, you can't. Like, it doesn't mean to do anything other than what it's created to do in that instance, you know what I mean? Like, and so the best thing you can do is to separate yourself from there and take shelter. So like, so with that song, like, that's kind of where I'm at. As far as like artistry and music going forward, you heard Cynical Trials, and I talked to you a little bit about it. I was in a pretty dark headspace because there was a lot of big life changes, and I think I was believing in this idea that like things were just gonna come together. Like when you turn 30, you imagine like I'm gonna have the house, the right job, like my dream life. Like it's just gonna be there, and I'm gonna have the wisdom to know what to do. I'm gonna be like, you're just gonna pop into your adult self, and that's not how it works. That's not how it works.
Unfortunately, yeah.
Everyone that's young out there, that's not how it works. Yeah, so I think I was reconciling that. I was reconciling the fact that I dropped out of college 3 times. Like I know I put myself in the position that I am, but there was no way to figure out how to get out of it. And so this day in, day out grind of like, I want to provide a better life for my family, for my daughter, for my wife, and she's just been a ride or die. You've met her, Taylor, and like she's just so supportive of this mission, regardless, rain or shine, rich or poor, and she meant it, you know?
Yeah.
And it especially when it breaks my heart because it's like, dude, like I want to provide better, but I don't know how. So I put everything into this music. But then like I realized like, okay, there's nowhere for me to go from here, you know, and everything's in the music, but it's not coming together. In fact, I don't know if I've talked to you about this, but in my faith, like I felt like God was resisting my music. Like I felt like it was also part of the plan, like it's not supposed to happen yet. And as much as I wanted to, it's not. So then it's like, do you even want this for me? I was getting confused. And then I experienced that, yeah. Right? Like, and so, yeah, but the one thing that I hadn't done in a really long time was surrender it. There's been many times I surrendered it and I picked it right back up, right? So when I really put it down, 16 years worth of effort, I went through like a really hard depression because I was like, yeah, I'm giving this to you, but not by choice. I'm giving this to you because like I don't know where else to go, and I'll embrace whatever's around me. And like it was crazy. So like that's why I'm in the kitchen now, off pizza. Like I'm chefing a little, and it's like, dude, I never thought I'd be in that environment, but it's providing for my family right now. Then with music, I gave it like back to him up for real, and that part had to die. And so I went through like this really deep sadness. I actually sought like therapy during that time because Taylor was encouraging it. I was just like, chill. And my therapist would turn out to be a Christian, so he has similar values, but he also believes in like the supernatural, like healing, prophetic. Like it was incredible. It's like, what are the chances? And I didn't even choose him. I chose someone else, but they said he's out of your coverage, so let me select someone for you, and they gave me him.
Yeah, so that was kind of meant to be.
Dude, 100%. So that was a life changer.
I love that. Sorry,
I kind of read the trail.
No, I had things I wanted to interject, but I didn't want to interrupt.
No, you're good.
So, yeah, I'm in therapy, and when my feet gave out, I was distraught because all I've ever wanted in life is to be like independent, self-sufficient. But my therapist asked me to like rethink what success is for me, and I wanted to put that out there for you regarding music. Obviously, don't give up, on reaching the heights that you want to reach, but in a way, you're providing, I think, for Sophie, showing her, like, I'm doing this despite not, it's not like working out as quickly as I would want, but it is making me happy, and that's worth sticking with.
Yeah, you bring up a valid point. So like, that was the thing. Like people would say, dude, you have a passion. This makes you happy, and it did. But like when I was in that like low point, like when I was supposed to go perform at 503 Records thing, I literally felt this feeling I've never felt before, where I fell out of love with it. Like I was like, this is not making me happy. It's taking more from me than it's giving. Like that's kind of what I had to wrestle with. Yeah. And then to make like a new record like so soon after that, like that's only something that God can do. So like through therapy, like basically this therapist who doesn't even know me, who believes in the prophetic, he's like, dude, I see music over you. And it's like, what? And he's like, yeah, I see it specifically with you. And he's like, don't give up on that. Like, and I was like, literally that's what I'm trying to do. And I'm trying to just accept like this mundane life and like just, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and so he's telling me not to. Kay's telling me not to. My wife's telling me not to. There's no signs that I should stop from my support, but there's signs within myself. So the battle's here. And it started to make me think, man, like, I think the devil is working overtime to try to get me to step away from my calling. You know what I mean? And I don't know, there was this quote that, like, I heard from this guy, Cap Chatfield. He has, like, a YouTube channel. This, like, blew my mind. I had to sit on this for a little bit.
Okay.
It said, God is not obligated to fulfill your version of his vision for you.
Oh, wait.
Fire.
Wait,
I'm going to read that again.
Read it again to the camera.
Yeah, so Cap Chatfield said, God is not obligated to fulfill your version of his vision for you. So it's like, that like was crazy for me because it's like, yeah, we have an idea of what we want it to look like. We have an idea of when it will look like that, right?
Yeah.
We have like these like timeline milestones. And he's not obligated to fulfill that. But what's required? Trust. Trust that he has something better. Trust that he has something really good. If you cannot trust that, then you will doubt it, and what you'll try to do is be like, no, he doesn't. So he's not fulfilling my timelines.
Yeah.
He must not care. He must not love me. Like, you start jumping to all these conclusions instead of being like, wait a second, no. What if he has a better idea of how all this comes together? And if I would just like trust the process, like it's gonna go to where it needs to be. So, wow, this was a long rabbit trail, but I mentioned cynical trials, so I'm in this dark place. And I don't know, through therapy, there was this moment where like my sister had some trouble. I'm not going to divulge all her stuff, but she had some trouble, big trouble. And then my therapist actually had a heart attack. And I was like, oh God, like did I like spill too much that he can't even handle my pain? That like,
wow.
Dude, I felt responsible. I'm not kidding. And then he believes in like supernatural healing, so he's like, pray for me. And then I prayed for him, and he says I still had to get the double bypass surgery. So it's like, damn, like I can't even like pray for like healing. Like, anyways, it was a whole thing. But there was something that happened where it's like, I don't have time to be depressed. I don't mean to be little, but something clicked where it was like, I don't have time for this. Like, people need I need a real encounter with a real God, and I need that in my life, like ASAP, and I need him. So I started to seek, like I was like reading my Bible again, I'm praying every morning, I'm ending every night with like gratitude prayers, and then I'm like on YouTube just binging as much like supernatural belief Christian content that I can. So Cap Chatfield, Todd White, what's his name? Taylor Welch, like all these people, I'm just like binging their stuff, and I'm getting filled up, and Bethel Church in Reading, and I'm just like getting filled up, I'm like empowering myself, and then I started to feel like, I don't know, him calling me back to music, and then I wrote Savior Complex in one day, recorded it in 4 hours, it's dad time, you know, and that's coming out next week, so it's just like, God's like, shifting everything, and then where I'm at right now, it's not like my immediate situation has changed, but my mindset has changed about how things can change in an instant, but it doesn't. And so here's what I need to talk about this real quick, okay? There's this song, I posted it to like my Facebook where you can pin like a song, Instagram. I've been sharing it with my family because it's just so powerful. It's a Hillsong song. That sounds really funny. It's a Hillsong song called Seasons, and it talks about. Have you heard it?
No, I saw in your story before I got here.
Dude, chills. I was literally crying listening to this. So the bridge says, "Cause you can see my promise, and even in the winter, cause you're the God of greatness, even in a manger. For all I know of seasons is that you take your time. You could have saved us in a second. Instead, you sent a child that would take 30 years to go through like human experience, and his ministry would be 3 years, and he would die on the cross for all our sins. Like, this is the way God's mind works. So if you're like, dude, this is taking forever, he could have, right? But instead he does it through a process. You know, the chorus goes, though the winter is long, even richer, the harvest it brings. And though my waiting prolongs, even greater, your promise for me is like a seed. I believe that my season will come. And I was like, dude, like, it was crazy. When I sang the bridge to Taylor, I'm holding Sophie, and I just start bawling my eyes out. Like I watched a Pixar movie.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, dude, it's just, so like if something, wait, I need to say this again. If you feel like, you know, your life is taking a lot longer to come into fruition, you're in good company. Like, that's honestly what I believe. You're in good company. I don't know if you've ever done this, but because we're hip hop heads, like I did a huge like deep dive on like when did people's careers come together, and a lot of people it's young. But I have this little page in the back of my journal that said like, man, I think it was like Action Bronson, what are the names? Danny Brown, Lecrae, like they were all like mid-30s. like early 40s when their career actually like took off, like late.
There's three artists always come to mind. LP, Killer Mike. You know, they were successful before they met each other, but their success just skyrocketed, right? You know, and once they like paired up, and then Charles Bradley. He actually didn't get famous until like 64.
Seriously?
And he died a few years later, which is unfortunate, but
He got to see it.
But yeah, he got to actually experience, you know, the love that people feel like from his gift.
So a bigger thing, like I'd say, is like how do we prepare and how do we posture ourselves? And I think the main thing is like your heart needs to be soft enough to be able to have faith in something that you cannot see, but to believe it like a child. When you're a child and they go, what do you want to be when you grow up? You shoot for the highest. You're not like, I want to work at, I'm gonna hate on myself. I want to be a cashier. Yeah, like you're not gonna say that. You're gonna be like astronaut, right?
Right.
Steve Irwin? No, I don't know. Like you're gonna reach for something up here, and so I think that wonder, that curiosity, that faith, you're not supposed to lose it when you get older, but it gets challenged by people that are realists, and it gets challenged by your day in, day out grind. It gets challenged by obstacles in your life.
Yeah.
And then what's supposed to happen, I think, is you're supposed to like let it draw you closer to God and things of God, that in turn, like, because He knows why you're created and what you're created for, sharpens the vision and the message. Like, here, one more thing. So I messaged like a minister that I like really love named Todd White, and just DM, shot it out, hoping he would respond. He didn't, but I think his daughter did, because he has a daughter named Zoe.
Okay.
And she took the time to really like, I don't know, encourage me, and this was really crazy. I'm just gonna read a little snippet of it because it's pretty long. He said, keep bringing Him, which is God, your creativity, even in the waiting. So often that in between is where He shapes the message that we're called to release. I believe there's still so much ahead for you in His perfect time. And that stuck with me. It's like this waiting season, often that's where the message is like refined, the conviction grows. And then you come out again and it's way closer to like the heart of God. It's closer to your mission. And so even this, like, this wasn't something you were doing when we first met. This is something that took the process, and it took the struggle, and it took like refining it, and then you're like, I'm gonna come out and do this thing, right? It's clear as day at that point.
It's weird how when you feel like you've stepped off the path, that was part of the path, you know? Yeah. I'm curious if you've ever so like I had, you know, trauma memory surface, childhood sexual abuse, and in that moment I like really questioned my faith, which I had never done before. And then, but in questioning my faith, that scared me, because it's always something I carry with me. Have you experienced that?
Definitely. I think it's like part of the human experience to question. I felt really bad, because the best way I can put it is I felt like an ungrateful brat. So they call Him our Father, right? And honestly, I lost trust, and I felt like He wasn't a good dad. And I felt like, you give me this promise, you get a ton of people telling me that this is what I'm created for. Even people that didn't know I made music, bro. I'd have people be like, I just see this over your life. So you're getting all these great words. But like, are you familiar with the story in the Bible of Joseph? You know about it?
The whale?
Oh, no, that's different. I got you.
Yeah.
That's Jonah. So Joseph gets told by his parents, like, you're here for great things, right? He's like the youngest, and he's the favorite. But they make him like this rainbow colored coat. His brothers get jealous because he tells them he has this dream. Basically, it's not smart on Joseph's part. He says, I had this dream that all of you were like bowing down to me.
Oh, God.
So what do you think happened? Well, this is like a little bit far, because I would never do this even if I was upset with my siblings. They threw him into a pit. They sold him into slavery.
I wouldn't do that too. That's extreme.
Yeah, but that's what they did to him. And so then he has to go through this whole process. I'm sure he had doubts, like, you have this great promise spoken over my life, but I'm not experiencing that. In fact, I'm experiencing the opposite. I'm thrown into slavery. But like, what he didn't realize is that would be, in a way, the fast track to getting to where he needed to be, which was eventually the right hand of Pharaoh. because he needed to interpret his dream.
Okay.
No one else could do it. But like it went through this process of being a slave, serving, like grinding, basically forgotten, and then thrown in prison, falsely accused of something he didn't do. And from that spot, someone's dream that he interprets in there, he goes, he remembers this guy, oh shoot, he did this for me, he can do it for you. And Pharaoh calls him out of the prison. He interprets his dream, and then he sets him right hand over all of Egypt, saves Egypt from him. It's incredible. But like, I'm trying to say like that's kind of what it is this idea of like the process that you go through. It takes all of that to get into where.
Right. Yeah. I was talking with a friend recently. I did know you did, and they were like, "Why can't? Like, why do we have to struggle?" And I was like, "Well, then that's where we learn. That's where we grow. If we were just born knowing everything, it wouldn't really be any point in life."
This, like in movies, right? What are our favorite movies? Like underdog stories. Well, I mean, The Chosen One.
You weren't asking me.
And I mean, like our favorite movies are like underdog stories. Any character that's faced against incredible odds. I mean, even in a rom-com or something, it's usually the person that's like they're not like a Beauty and the Beast sort of situation. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just trying to explain like our favorite stories, our favorite movies, shows. They have conflict.
Yeah.
They have great adversity, and it's fun to watch it in the film. It's not fun to go through it.
No, but it's usually not so later when you look back. Like, that was really beneficial.
Yeah, that needed to happen.
Yeah. Wow, man. What's the purpose behind your art?
The purpose behind my art. Sorry, it's gonna take a moment.
Nah, go ahead. Think about it.
I think it changes, right? Like, the purpose in the initial was to heal myself.
Yeah.
Prevent my frustrations and my anger. Then it's like, wait, maybe this can help people. So now it's trying to help people, but doing it in like a crude way because I didn't have the skills. So I'm just trying my best. People are not connecting or resonating with it. Then you go, it's really hard to help people that don't want the help that I'm trying to give them. You know what I'm saying? So then I find myself there. Then it's like I'm trying to prove my ability. So now it's like a sport. I need to get really good at this thing.
Yeah.
So it keeps going from for me, then for others. For me, not for others. Where I'm at right now, it's for God. It's like, if you've given me this, then help me sustain it. As long as, like, the proof for me is like, I keep getting songs still. So that's enough proof. Like, you want me to do this. Like, if the music is still coming, I'll pen it down. I'll record it. And what you want to accomplish through it, now that's where I'm at. So I think that in that place, it's both now for you and for you, if you keep it in the right spot. Otherwise, you end up serving the music, or you end up serving money, like this chase after riches. Like, you serve something lesser, which the Bible calls idols, but I believe it's true. Something that can't speak, something that can't reach, something that can't actually save, but the promise is that, like oh man, I didn't think I was going to get into this, but I think TikTok is actually a really dangerous place where people have watered down half-truths. And people that are scrolling, they're looking for real truth. They need real, that's why they're valuing authenticity. They're looking for someone that can tell them, hey, this is what you're worth, this is your purpose. Like, you know what I mean, hang in there, like, but something for real. But what we get is like, it's close, but it's not quite there. And honestly, this is gonna like shake some people's, ruffle some feathers. But I think that like law of attraction, manifestation, I think all of those are bites from the Bible, but they're not quite there. They're missing a very important piece. Because what that does is it actually makes you like God of your own universe. And like, I just need to like bring it into my own life.
Right.
Like, and then what happens if you get it? Look what I did. And you can do it too. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And what do we know? Like, way long ago, like what was like Satan cast down for? Being prideful, like being like. So I think that like I think it's really important to know where the praise goes. You know, blessings come down, praises go up, sort of deal. And I think that I don't know. It's interesting, right? Like it's almost like news. Like we have journalists all over on TikTok spreading whatever message. A lot of them are parodying messages that they've heard from others. So it's like really messy. And what does it do? When you scroll for hours, you end up getting really confused because you're like, I thought I knew what I stood for, but now I'm not quite sure.
That's a good point. But I don't think that we'll talk about it. Yeah, one thing I don't like that we're seeing a lot online is censoring language. Like, especially when it's something like serious. I've seen like people reporting on crime people committed, and yeah, they can't even say like the actions of what that person has done.
Right. I mean, probably like, I know that feels like oppressive, but it's also probably like now becoming a parent. If there's a youngster on there that came across something that they're not ready to, that's, you know, it's a conversation for the parent to the child maybe. So like that might be one reason, but I know what you mean.
That's a good point.
I do know what you mean, but it's like, you know how there's like child versions of stuff? Like here's the Netflix for kids. Here's the, you know what I mean? Because dude, Disney just merged with Hulu, and I'm like, dude, it's the Wild West out there. You're looking at Disney movies, and then you just see like Handmaid's Tale and like what, like all these movies and shows that are so inappropriate, or something that's like, I forget what the title was, but it was something like something sex, just like right there. And it's like, dude, you could be 6 years old looking for like Cinderella, and you just see like, you know what I mean? All the horror movies, like, yeah, it's like all in one finder.
Well, now that is bringing up a question. Navigate that being a parent now.
So to be fair, she's only 6 months, but you know, she is now like watching, her favorite thing is Puff and Rock. It's like Irish, like this little like cute Irish, like looks like a paper cutout. But I mean, yeah, it's something we think about, like we're more cautious of. Like we used to love watching horror movies, and it's like maybe we don't watch those in front of her because she'll soak it up somehow, even internalize something. So, you know, it's basically, it kind of calls you to step it up. You're not going to be perfect, but you do want to try your best to protect this young mind as it develops, as it finds its way.
It's refreshing to hear you say, man. Thinking about just every little thing that your child might absorb or witness. Like,
you never know. Some people say they remember when they were born. To me, that's a stretch because I only remember when I turned 6. But some people probably do remember those early years, something like 3, 4, even. I don't.
Yeah, my memory's pretty broken up, and that's because of the trauma. Yeah. Trauma certified. But yeah, like I remember watching, you know, the first Matrix movie when I was a kid, and my mind was not ready for that at all. I had horrible nightmares for a long time. Yeah. And you know, my parents just thought, oh, this is a movie, sure, you're gonna watch it. They weren't expecting, you know, what happens, but yeah, I'm curious, like, I wonder if you're gonna be the type of parent where like, I'll watch it first.
Oh yeah, make sure like screen it. I think they have websites where it says like what kind of stuff might pop up.
That's true.
And it is tough, right? Because like even stuff that's intended for kids, they actually make it like to also appease adults, so that adults aren't bored when they bring their kids to the movies. So some jokes might be a little crude. Like think about Shrek. Like I love Shrek. But some of those jokes are like a little bit like pushing the envelope, and you're not going to be able to catch every arrow. You know what I mean? Like they're going to go to school one day and they're going to learn from Timmy or Joe. Like I don't know why they're all guy names, but you know what I'm saying? They're going to learn something, you know, and pick up other things. So it's like I think as long as there's a safe place to be able to dialogue about it, talk about it. Simple.
Yeah, obviously you're not there yet, but like,
yeah, she's 6 months. But we're not there yet.
Yeah, like I didn't have the best sex education growing up, and then I would go to school and you know, I could learn from other kids, and that was probably the worst way. It's just like whatever they learned from like Brother or South Park, you know. Yeah, so being able to talk to your kids and have them feel like they can tell you anything. That's ideal. You seem like, I don't want to jinx you, but I think you'll have that relationship with your daughter.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Hope so. I want her to feel comfortable to talk about things, and And like, I think I could have used that, like being able to really like, even like first girlfriend. Like I remember my first girlfriend, it's like I didn't even have my dad to be able to talk about like, what does that look like? Like what is okay and what's not okay? How do I, you know what I mean? I didn't even have that. So it's like, that would have been nice. So I think as a parent, just, you know, not just protecting, but also like creating a safe place. That's like probably the most important thing we can do. But still, we'll find out.
Absolutely. How did you cope with past grief?
Cope with past grief?
Yeah, how do you cope with grief now?
Faith. My faith, dude. Like honestly, we belittle like how much can happen when you just sit still. When you sit in the presence of God, a lot of that inner turmoil and pain can be stilled. Like it wasn't just a physical act of calming those in waves, it's also like He can do that in here. It's like He can speak a word in season, a word that you need, that like not knocking therapy, because obviously I'm doing therapy, but like what a therapist might take them 10 years to unravel, He can unravel in a moment if it's the right word that you need for your heart right now. You know what I mean? Like you're safe, or you're protected, or you're loved, you're worth it. Like whatever the thing is that you need in here, like He knows what that is. And I think that, like even like I told you, I was, you know, getting emotional listening to those words in the worship song. Like all worship songs sound so similar. So upon first listen, I didn't get anything of it. When I actually sat with the lyrics and it was speaking to my soul, like the very thing that I'm like going through. Yeah, I was a mess, you know. And so I think that like that time of spending with the Father, spending with the Holy Spirit, letting Him heal those things makes you better. And that's not something that you do like, let me do my once a year, or let me do my every 3 months oil change. This is like you can do that, but you'll be like hurting.
It's a constant.
It's a constant thing. Yeah. It's not even a morning night thing. It's like a throughout the day thing. I'm learning that when I go to work, even I pray that He's with me as I'm cutting vegetables. I pray that He's with me when I'm talking to customers, that I'd be able to like speak the things that they need, speak the things that He wants me to say. As I do this, I come home with a smile on my face, even if it was the hardest day I ever had. Because there's something about being plugged in. What was it like? Oh, dude, I had this like aha. I was washing dishes because I washed so many dishes, and so I always thought of Christianity kind of like a sponge. So like you fill up with the presence, and then you release that presence, and you have to go fill up again because now you're dry, right? So some people live Christianity like that, but I don't think that's how it was intended to work. Because when I was washing dishes, there was a flow of water on my hand. And have you seen when water hits the surface, it kind of like envelops it? But if you turn it off, it's gonna all vanish away because it drips off your hand. But as long as that source was flowing, it looked like a little force field on my hand. Do you know what I'm saying? It was covered. So they talk about the anointing in the Bible, and the anointing's like oil. So just like that, like if it's continuing to flow, then it covers everything. And what does oil do? Like oil makes things like slick, right? Oil is like it can start fires. Like oil is, it's also and a healing ointment, you know? Anyway, like I was just looking at that and I was like, what if the picture is like staying plugged into the source so that the source continues to cover, heal, and that when you encounter somebody, they get touched by this source. Do you know what I mean? And so then I was reading my Bible and I read, I am the vine, you are the branches. You know, from apart from me, you can't bear fruit. So then I was just like, dude, this is backed up in the Bible. Staying plugged in is a thing. Like, we're meant to do it throughout the day.
It's interesting because I am not religious and I haven't read the Bible. Sorry. Personally, I do not believe in heaven or hell as being like places.
Yeah.
And yet...
Then you have not worked in retail, my friend.
I was going to say, and yet we have similar faiths, similar beliefs, similar ways we navigate the world.
Yeah.
I just find that interesting. Just wanted to point that out.
Yeah, I think whether you believe in those things or not, everybody's on a journey. Yeah. And that journey of trying to figure out how things work, that's where we meet in the middle. And honestly, like, I don't need to convince anybody of what I believe because, like, a tree is known by its fruits. So what is it? It says, taste and see that the Lord is good. First for myself, I need to be tasting and seeing that God is truly good. But if someone gets fruit off of my tree, ideally that they would see like, wait, this is really good. Like, where did you get this? And I would be like, let me tell you about it. Like, you know what I mean? So that's kind of like my goal is like, if someone experiences God in inner healing, in a physical healing, in, you know, we talk about those prophetic words, like through my music, like something like that it would be real, then we can have that conversation. But I would never rush anybody because like, ultimately it's not my responsibility. The Holy Spirit's the best evangelist. So if he's touching somebody, it's different. That's how you can get a murderer like Saul to turn into Paul, who would write more than half the New Testament. You know, like that's not something man did. That was something God did. Yeah. Like I want to show you this picture that I came across. I'm gonna show it to this too.
Okay. Beautiful.
Lady took it. A one in a million shot of a tree being struck by lightning. Have you seen that yet?
No.
Her name is Donnie Dania from West Virginia. Whoa, dude, look at this. I don't know if it'll focus on it, but basically, like, this is what I feel like we are. We're trees, you know, staying rooted, you know, and then this is the power of God hitting that tree.
Right.
That's what I want for myself and what I want for everyone at the camp.
And to like be on fire.
Yeah.
Yeah, you really want to keep that connection to God open.
I don't think it's enough to just give someone good vibes. I think that's what we need. That brings transformation.
Yeah. I feel like, I know, my faith, has helped me a lot healing over the years.
If you have this calling on your life, execute. And it's much easier for him to steer a parked car. You heard that? Or, sorry, not parked car. I butchered it. It's much easier for him to steer a moving car than it is a parked car. So if you just have all these doubts and you just stay in one place, it's a lot more difficult. However, if you start rolling forward even slow and you're just trying like this, you're just trying to create a space, trying to execute this calling that you get, like he can steer you where you need.
I fully believe in myself now, and I think, like, I know, God has been believing in me this entire time, but I didn't even, I was like, oh, God. But, yeah, no, I'm in this 100%, and I'm excited to put it out there. I want to talk with people like you who kind of feel like, I feel like you're in a good place, and you're not just kind of like fumbling around in the dark, basically.
Yeah, I mean, like, right now, that's where I'm at. Hopefully I get to stay there for as long as possible. I like being in the light. Like, when you're in the light, you're at peace. Like, my financial situation is still very similar. You know what I mean? Like, where I'm working is still very similar. But, like, when you're at peace, regardless of what you have, like, this is peace that what they say, like, it surpasses understanding. Like, it doesn't make sense, but why are you at peace? So it's a gift, something given tonight. Like, I want to stay in that place. Lighter.
My wife is so light right now. It's amazing. Yeah. When you feel invisible, how does it feel to be witnessed? And how do you carry that experience forward to witness others?
Yeah. Sorry, can you reframe it? Like, so you're saying when I feel invisible and when someone recognizes me, basically?
I was at a photo show once, just for example, and I was just really depressed, just really not even in the room. I wasn't present with anyone who was there. And Kaylin approached me, and he noticed me in my feeling invisible, in my darkness, and he just said, try to keep smiling, the world needs it.
Yeah.
He saw me in that moment. It kind of feels surreal.
Yeah.
So you kind of feel like I'm the only one experiencing this right now. No one can relate. Have you experienced something like that?
Definitely. It's funny, like, you bring up Kay. I think Kay is like a light in that way. Because I think that Kay Wayne, shout out to you, my friend.
Love you, bro.
Yeah, I think that when I first did open mics in Portland, no one knows who I am. No one knows how long my journey's been or how hard I've been working on this.
Yeah.
And me and Kay would start to talk online, and then we ended up meeting up in person. And like right away, dude's just like supportive of like what I'm doing. And even though our styles are so different, what we believe in is so synergetic. Like it's similar. Like it's different enough, but it's like so similar. The heartbeat of what we want to see happen, which is basically like building up our community.
Yeah.
right? Through like inner healing, growth, emotional maturity, like coaching, like whatever, like it's through like these tangible ways that we want to reach community. Like, so I think something about that is unifying. He also has faith, like he believes in in God. Like we've had many conversations about it. So yeah, I think it does take a real presence of a person to do that. It's like where you feel noticed or seen, and even like I mentioned, like those quiet times with the Lord where I feel seen, the right words spoken or something, it is healing, it's empowering, and then it does almost create this like, I want to create that for someone else too, you know? So it's kind of like a gift that like pays forward. Yeah.
Okay. Since we're pressed for time, what is one key thing you want people to learn from, take away from your art?
I mean, it should be evident throughout this interview. It should be evident. But I'll start with this. When I went out into the Portland scene, I think I saw so much hunger to be recognized, which is like your last question, but not very many people offering recognition.
Yes.
It took someone at the show to come see you, maybe not even the host, maybe not even the show itself, but someone to come up to you. So like, where I see a disparity, we talk about businesses look at a need and see like what community needs and they develop something. So in the same sense, like emotional needs, what someone might need, like why something like this should exist is because somebody out there needs encouragement, but they have no encouragers. So if you're an encourager, start encouraging people, like to your left and to your right. Don't hold back on that, because even if you yourself need encouragement, like someone out there desperately needs it. So what should change, honestly, and overhaul out in the scene specifically is like championing and encouraging others, you know? And I think not just in music, but like just in general, there's like an endless supply of negativity on social media. You post something, look at the first 5 comments are probably negative, like usually.
I don't want to say that.
Yeah, exactly. So like, but if we had an endless supply of encouragement, then it allows people to truly become all that they're supposed to be. It allows them to be seen and to know, hey, your journey is valid, you're worth it, like I see you, keep grinding, keep going, or like, I don't even like that word, grinding. Like,
no, grinding.
You know what I mean? Grinding's a bad word.
It's got some derogatory.
Yeah, I think like,
States, but
yeah, I think it's more like, keep reaching higher, keep believing, like know that you're seen. And I think that if we have more people, more forces like that as agents of change, it would stop a lot of things, dude. People self-medicate in some of the worst ways. Like, and I just think that's what they're really looking for at the end of the day is like strong community and feeling.
Absolutely. Yeah, we're running out of time.
I know.
We'll have to do another interview at some point because
we can do a part 2.
Yes, sir, we can.
Yeah.
Okay.
This has been How We Heal, turning pain into power. I'm your host, Eddie Magic.
Jayme Fortune. Thanks for joining us.
Bro, thank you so much for being here.
Desperate, I've never known man. If it would come to me now, I would be set and all of my family would have it. The youth have been playing with fire, the promise of stars is leaving us stranded. So dirt on my skin, my life grew so dim, boy, I panicked. Cried out to God and he told me the devil ain't winning, he busy pretending it's finished. God bless. It's a celebration, we gon' elevate him. Unashamed of my God, Lord, bring your glory back in. God bless. Heaven opens, your blood is washing my sin. I've got a fire from my God, I pray and never grow dim. Back like I never left, ain't no prodigal, I'm unstoppable. God found me, got a plan for me to eradicate what them scholars hold. Love motivates, and it's true that I got love for you if you're not opposed. But even if you curse my name, throw shade, I'ma say God bless like mama taught. Yeah, after my daughter was born, I was depressed, I couldn't shake it. Felt God wasn't good to me, he wouldn't talk to me, he blamed favorites. I knew in the pit of my stomach that he had my back. Demons would laugh, make me think I wouldn't last, but pressure turned art into craft. Packed up my bags, your words endorse a man. You shatter his heart like porcelain, I was ignoring him. I thought I knew better, and that made a villainous origin. I was against loving enemies.